Kesha Williams steadied the water pitcher with hands that had learned to move unnoticed. The golden terrace hummed with quiet luxury, chandeliers scattering light, low conversation, the soft clink of cutlery. At table 12, David Richardson, once celebrated as an innovator, now a billionaire, whose name opened doors, smiled for his guests until a crystal glass slipped from his grip and shattered on the marble floor. The room froze. Every head turned to the young waitress who had broken her silence. "That signature," she said, holding the paper in the light, "belongs to my mother." The document he'd been displaying was unmistakable. A technical sketch for solar technology with a looping name in the corner, Dr. Amelia R. Williams, dated years before Richardson's rise. The Japanese investors at the next table exchanged puzzled looks. Richardson's practiced composure faltered. Kesha had worked at the Golden Terrace for 3 years, swallowing microaggressions and the casual erasure that accompanied luxury. She had come that night with more than plates and linens. She carried a lifetime of questions. When she was 3, men in uniform had come to her family's door. "Lab accident," official had said. No funeral, no closure. Months later, a company appeared with a new product and a new story. A story he told about ingenuity and progress. "Excuse me?" Richardson stammered, his voice reduced to a rasp. The manager, eager to protect a powerful client, leaned in and urged her to return to the kitchen. But Kesha did not step back. She had spent years building a quiet dossier. Photographs, notes, copies of lab records, fragments of truth preserved by people who refused to let memory die. 21 years ago, she said so that the diners could hear. "And you started a company half a year after she died. Isn't that curious?" The millionaire's panic showed. He ordered security, denounced her as delusional, and threatened legal action if the episode made it into the press. The manager, fearing the fallout, sacked her on the spot. Kesha left calmly, phone in hand, flashing an old faded photograph, a young Amelia in a lab coat beside a younger Richardson. Murmurs spread like a current. The image contradicted the neat narrative that had replaced her mother's life. Richardson's PR engine revved immediately. Lawyers, publicists, and corporate spin aimed to discredit the story and erase its author. To them, this was an irritant. To Kesha, an opening. The first attacks were small but effective. A flagged bank account, stalled job prospects, unseen lists circulated among hiring managers. Dangerous money had ways of bending systems to its will, but Kesha was not acting on impulse. Years earlier, Dr. Patricia Collins, a colleague of Amelia's and a scientist who refused to betray friendship, had safeguarded materials others assumed destroyed. When Kesha knocked on Patricia's office door, the older scientist embraced her and unlocked a safe filled with files, dated lab notebooks, and recorded conversations. Amelia had suspected pressure. She had joked nervously about signing transfers. She had also been meticulous, every experiment logged, every draft archived. Kesha turned the cache into a careful, legal-ready narrative. She approached an investigative reporter, Marcus Thompson, who had seen enough to know when a story warranted patience. Marcus warned her of corporate retaliation. "He can make your